caught feelings for someone who does nothing for you? I'm talking about a man who expects you to clean up his mess, cook for him, do his laundry, manage his emotions, and pay the bills while he's just doing absolutely nothing in the relationship. And because he's not contributing anything substantial, you have to step up. You find yourself lowering your expectations and compromising your standards just to keep the relationship going. Let's be real. I'm sure we all have that one friend who always date down and end up being with someone who doesn't text back, can't commit, and make them feel like they are too much for expecting the bare minimum. Here's the thing. Most people will tell you that it's impossible to find genuine love and wealth in a partner. It's either you justify loving a broke man who can't do anything for you, or you look for a wealthy man who may not love you but fulfills all your basic needs in life. It's very important that you don't listen to any of them. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Here's why. When someone only has bad, horrible experiences in love or marriage, and it always turned out to be the worst decisions of their life, there's a high chance that they will advise others against making the same decisions as them. They will tell you that good men don't exist and you have to suffer for the rest of your life. Their intent may not be malicious, but you have to understand that it came from their own personal experiences, judging your abilities, your experiences, and your standards based on their limited understanding of the world. It's not a universal truth. In fact, it's actually uncomfortable for most people to accept a reality that was deemed not possible for them. Somehow, they manage to convince themselves that there is no other possible realities except for the one they're in right now. Look, I'm not here to be relatable because I want to break free from the system. The system that conditions us to believe that we can't have it all. The system that conditioned us to believe that it's okay to struggle with a grown man who has nothing to offer. The truth is, society puts a lot of pressure on women to get married and get married early, ideally before 30. Let's be honest, there is an unspoken expectation and social pressure that marriage is a woman's crowning accomplishment, and she will somehow regret it if she never does. Well, what if the marriage fails? You'll be surprised that most people will find a way to blame the woman even if she was the perfect wife and did all the right things, but the guy cheated anyway. Let's be real, if marriage was so beneficial for women than men, society wouldn't push the narrative so hard. For centuries, women had to marry for safety and protection, but primarily for economic survival, as they were traditionally taught to be housewives. Back then, women couldn't have their own bank accounts or property asset, so they have to be financially dependent on their husbands, and that often results in unreported abuse and domestic violence. Honestly, I'm very thankful the world has been taking an active approach to address gender equality. However, the existing power dynamics and social norms are still deeply ingrained in the system. Society is still glorifying men for being the prize and doing the bare minimum, especially when they become fathers. If they get off work an hour earlier to pick the kids from school, everyone would be singing praises for his contribution when raising children is a shared responsibility. Till this day, a man proposing to a woman is seen as a powerful indicator of her perceived value when it has nothing to do with that. In fact, women have a lot more to lose when it comes to a bad marriage. If more women realize how much they have to lose in order to keep a dysfunctional marriage, there will be plenty of men who would never get laid, and the patriarchy simply can't have that. Let's be honest, in most divorce cases, mothers are usually the ones taking full custody of the kids, and some men will avoid paying taxes just to avoid paying for alimony. As women, we need to choose wisely because here's what nobody tells you about. Our children will carry the weight of our unprocessed emotions, fears, and traumas. They don't get to choose who their father is, so we hold the responsibility to choose the right man who will step up and fulfill his obligations for the family. Can you imagine choosing a man that's an amazing father who never fails to show up to the kids' doctor appointments and school events instead of finding excuses as to why he can't make it? I may probably get a lot of hate for saying this, but it's extremely selfish and impulsive to procreate with a man that you knew deep down was not a good choice. He's lazy, he's selfish, he's dishonest, he's financially incapable of looking after himself, and on top of that, he has no ambition at all. Your intuition was probably nudging you the whole time to avoid this man, but you chose to go against it because of how much you love him. Let's be honest, love is the first thing that goes out of the window when bills are piling up and the man you're with expects you to pay for it. The worst thing that can happen is if you choose to have kids with a man like this. What a complete nightmare. Think about it, in this economy, having kids are expensive, especially if you want to expand their horizons by sending them for enrichment classes or any other extracurricular activities. If the lifestyle you want involves your kids going for all of that, you're responsible for choosing a decent, generous, hardworking man who can work towards building the same lifestyle that you have envisioned for yourself. If you want to attract men who are in alignment with what you want, it starts by putting yourself first. Yes, you heard me. When you put yourself first, it shows how much you love and respect yourself, and everyone has no choice but to reflect that back to you. Trust me, it's not selfish to value your own needs, wants, and desires that you refuse to participate in anything that doesn't align with who you are and what you can provide for yourself. Whoever sees that as being selfish is just miserable because your growth makes them feel insecure. It shows how much they're not willing to change and they're just settling for comfort. Eventually, you'll realize that your relationship with yourself sets the tone for your relationship with others. Most men decide in an instant if they want to respect you based on how you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you dress, and the way you present yourself regardless of where you go. As a woman, being respected goes a long way instead of chasing the sparks you feel with someone. Have you ever noticed that the most adored women in a relationship usually aren't the ones doing the most? Let me get this straight. Doing more for a man will not make him love you more. In fact, it's the opposite. Doing more for a man will only make him love you less. That's right. To women that are used to doing everything, and I mean everything, from cleaning up his mess, organizing his entire life for him, to planning all the dates and vacations, you have to stop. I'm serious. As much as we know how strong and capable you are, there is no need to prove yourself. It's okay if you're naturally a type A and want to take the lead sometimes, but it should never be 100% on you. You'd be surprised that healthy masculine men want to do the honor of making your life easier. In fact, they're wired to bond through hardships and what they can contribute to your life. A man who truly loves you will do everything in his power to make you happy. Don't you want to be thriving in your personal lives because you are well loved and well taken care of in your marriage? Recently, I spoke to a few married women and I can feel their genuine love and excitement whenever they talk about their husbands. That's the kind of people we should be seeking advice from. Don't take advice from people who are not living the lifestyle that you want. Look, I'm not telling you to start acting like a bitch or look down on others, but I'm just saying that you should protect your energy and only take advice from people that you truly admire and respect. Ultimately, the secret to marry for lifestyle and love is to be practical when you are dating someone. Once the dating stage evolves into a serious relationship, you would have fallen in love by then, and the practicality aspect has been handled because you wouldn't risk opening yourself up to a man who isn't practical with his life, his finances, and his future. Assuming that he has passed your quality check, the next step will come naturally, and that's when you marry for love. Look, this may not resonate with some of you because I am very logical when it comes to dating, and thankfully, it has protected me from so many men who just want to take advantage of me. At the end of the day, you get to decide what's best for you, and I just want you to know that you can have it all. Thank you for watching, and click to subscribe if you enjoy my content. Bye!